Shalom. I'm Rabbi Josh Caruso from Anshe Chesed Fairmount Temple. It's my honor to be here today to pay tribute to Estelle. In the words of Ecclesiastes, a season is set for everything, a time for every experience under heaven, a time for dancing and a time for wailing, a time for birthing and a time for dying, a time for speaking and a time for silence, a time for seeking and a time for losing. The time of mourning is a complicated time, filled with many emotions and memories, both bitter and sweet. We begin our service with the recitation of psalms and prayers, thus linking Estelle's life with the 3,000-year-old tradition of the people Israel and the eternity of God. I invite you to join with me in the recitation of Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. It is a fearful thing to love what death can touch. A fearful thing to love, hope, dream to be, and oh, to lose. A thing for fools this, and a holy thing to love. For your life has lived in me, your laugh once lifted me, your word was gift to me. To remember this brings a painful joy. 'Tis a human thing, love, a holy thing, to love what death has touched. We are here to pay tribute to our beautiful Estelle. I know that her son Mark, her granddaughter Rose, and her son Ray would like to share a few words with you in memory and tribute.
Thank you, Rabbi. Shalom. Today we come together to say goodbye and to honor our friend, our Nana, my mom, Estelle. If she was here in person, you know that she'd be with each of you, telling you a little story, a little memory of what you meant to her. She loved you all dearly. That's who Estelle was, always making us feel included, always making everyone feel loved. She was a gracious and elegant woman, a connector and devoted friend. My mother, Estelle, was the original social network. She kept in touch and ensured you always knew that you could count on her for her support. Lucky for Robin and I, my dad fell in love with Estelle in 1973, and when he introduced her to us, we too fell in love with her and Jeff and Shelley and Ray, Nana Ruth, Papa Louie, Papa Charlie, Nana Lil, Aunt Katie, Uncle George, Aunt Mary, Uncle Sammy, and so many of you. A year later, we became a family with Estelle as the center of the world. Dovey hosted a beautiful wedding, and my mother was a beautiful bride with 2 brand new children to love. She took care of us when we were sick, protected us, and helped us become the people we are now. This was our new family, and if anyone mistakenly called us the step family, we quickly corrected them, explaining that the only steps that were in our home were the ones that led down to Jeff's room. Now, ironically, we lived on a ranch. This was fact. But what a home it was. Located in what we thought was a far-flung farmland, but as my dad assured us, was only 7 minutes away from anything. We consolidated 2 houses, and families to a single home, full of love. Estelle was the best mother, grandmother, and friend anyone could ask for, listening intently and never uttering a bad word about anyone. She hated gossip, and she held her secrets like a vault. You could take that to heart. She embodied the phrase, if you have nothing nice to say, say nothing. Mom would often say the best times are when we're all together, and she was right. She cherished her grandchildren, and she had special relationships with each of them. For Rosie and Katie, Nana Estelle was their biggest cheerleader, valued advice giver, and style icon. To Meg, Estelle was the dream mother-in-law, always encouraging, never judgmental, a source of love and comfort during tough times, and a shining example of a strong matriarch. For me, Estelle was my mom. The woman who healed us after great sorrow, loved us without hesitation, and made us a family. Our family celebrations and vacations bound us together, and as her family grew, my mom welcomed each new spouse and grandchild with endless love and affection. And like my dad before her, she treasured her closest friends, many of whom she knew her whole life. As an only child, her girlfriends were her sisters in every way except blood. They spoke daily, laughter in good times, and held each other dearly when times were more difficult. A few weeks ago, when we first learned my mom was sick, she told us that she had been speaking with my dad since he had passed 10 years ago, daily. When she went to the hospital, she asked Dad about joining him, to which he responded, "It's not your time." When her condition worsened, she told him to move over. But again, he said it wasn't your time. And we really did laugh that this was his way of saying that he and Dovey and Eddie were straightening up the place until it was ready for Estelle's standards. I do believe that they're all together now, home, laughing hard, as they did whenever they were together and enjoying each other's company as only friends who have known each other a lifetime can do. Very few of us have the privilege of knowing someone as true and loving as Estelle, and for that, we should all consider ourselves blessed, even as we mourn her loss. Her presence will be greatly missed, but her spirit will live in the love and respect we'll continue to have for one another in her honor. In the Jewish religion, we say, may their memory be a blessing, encouraging us to talk often about the loss of our loved ones. Estelle's memory will indeed be a blessing as we too walk each other home.
My Nana Estelle was the most glamorous woman I've ever met. Her hair was done every Friday in her signature bun, her manicure was always fresh, and she was accessorized perfectly with sparkling silver jewelry and my favorite, oversized sunglasses. I remember her taking me to the beauty salon with her when I was little. I watched in awe as her beloved stylist, Paula, washed and set her hair, meticulously placing bobby pins to hold her iconic style. It felt so timeless, so luxurious. I know now that these spaces were more than just for grooming. They were another place for my Nana to build her community. She knew everybody in the room, and she listened carefully to their stories. She treated everyone with kindness and nourished her friendships throughout her entire life. My Nana's vivacious personality lit up the room. Everyone who met her loved her. Her girlfriends were cherished sisters. I'll never forget her 80th birthday party. We all watched as she made her way around a packed room, telling a personal story about every single person there. I was so amazed at the community she'd built and the love she showed everyone in it. She had a way of making every moment meaningful. Every conversation was life-changing and affirming. I know that all of my cousins will agree that Nana phone calls were the best. From that first cheerful hiya over the line, we always knew that when we hung up, we would feel 10 feet tall. She always stressed the importance of happiness on our own terms. She was a treasured confidant to my sister Katie, and her advice has shaped us into the women we are today. I loved hearing stories about her time as a dancer, her beauty routines, and most of all, her love for my Papa Gene. She came into his life and seamlessly blended their families, providing unconditional love and understanding. I'm moved by the mother she became for my dad. As I've built my own blended family with my partner and his son, she's offered invaluable wisdom and encouragement. Most importantly, to make all decisions with love. While we mourn her loss, I know I'm not alone in feeling so thankful for our relationship. I'm thankful for the family she built and the love she showed to everyone she met. There are so many lessons to be learned from my Nana. From the importance of a signature look to always having a chocolate chip banana cake ready for your guests, to finding your happiness and living your life on your own terms. The most important lesson of all is to prioritize love. From our families to our friends and partners, she taught us that when things are done with love, as Estelle would say, it's all good.
My mom, Estelle Pauline Phinick, also known as Estelle Fosberg, Estelle Sussel, and before our time went on stage performing, she went by Estelle Phinick. We just called her Mom. Not just Jeff and Shelley and I, but also Mark and Robin. We all called her Mom. As you've probably heard already or will hear, we're like the Brady Bunch when Mom married Gene in '74. It was us three and Mark and Robin forming this amazing family. That family only happens because of the love and support from Mom and Gene. We became a family, and Mom was the absolute matriarch of our family. We did so many wonderful things together, including vacationing many summers at the Outer Banks of North Carolina. That was always our favorite. I have so many great memories of those trips. Our kids grew up having the amazing week each summer with their cousins and aunts and uncles. I'll never forget the dinners we used to have. As a matter of fact, most of our best times revolve around food. It's kind of a joke. You'll hear this today. We're always planning our next meal during the current one. That'll probably be done today, this afternoon. So, thanks for that, Mom. On these trips, one of the families had to cook one night of dinner. As Mom was not the most accomplished chef, when it was Mom and Gene's night, we usually went out. Another example of Mom's cooking prowess was when Mom and Gene were first married. Mom decided she was going to make this wonderful family dinner for all of us. She got a recipe for some lasagna dish off an Airplane magazine. It was Arnie Palmer's Easy Lasagna. When I was actually putting this together, I Googled it to see if I could find it. It doesn't exist. Anyway, it was by far the worst lasagna we ever ate, but it was a family dinner. Probably the first of so many wonderful times we spent together. I don't really remember if anybody ate it. But one thing Mom could do was make an awesome noodle kugel, her green jello mold, and as already been mentioned, her chocolate chip banana bread. Those were three items I will certainly miss the most. Thanks for that, Mom. Even though she wasn't the world's greatest cook, our home always hosted every single holiday. From the Jewish ones like Yom Kippur dinner and break fast, Rosh Hashanah, Hanukkah celebrations, even the non-religious ones. Every birthday, anniversary, we always hosted dinners. Anytime there was a reason to get together and celebrate, our home and our mom would be the host. She always did that with class and grace. So thanks for that, Mom. She was so put together. As been mentioned, she was meticulous in her dress and appearance. Anything she owned, she took pride in and great care of. From her condo that she loved, to her car, to her hair. Never a scratch on the car, a piece of dust in the condo, or a hair out of place. And as many of you know, she has had her hair done every Friday by the same person, and she's here somewhere, for 50 years, Paula. And it was awesome that Paula was able to see Mom those last weeks. To do that one thing she does with her hair. It was up. Mom looks like Mom again. So thanks for that, Mom. And thanks, Paula. And the truth is, she passed on that trait of really being anal about everything. And Shelley and I know, carry that with us, and I think Jeff as well. I don't know if Mark and Robin got that trait of everything having to be in its place, but hey, thanks for that, Mom. So many comments I have heard and read about Mom include statements like, she was a special lady. Class and grace, that was your mom. She was a classy person, a great woman, a beautiful lady, inside and out, just a wonderful person. The truth about Mom is she was just the best. Not because she was beautiful. She was. Not because she was accomplished, but she was. Not because she was an amazing friend to many. She was. Not just because she was a great daughter, mother, mother-in-law, grandmother, nana to all of us, and she was. The truth is, Mom loved everyone, unconditionally. She would never talk bad about another person. She was the epitome of, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything. So many of us may be wise to remember the way she carried herself and the way she went about life. I have thought many times over the last month or so, WWMD or WWND in certain situations, especially when the last few weeks have been not very kind to our family and not easy on Mom. What would Mom do? What would Nana do? I always try to remember that, and when life throws us a curveball. She also taught me, Jean taught me this as well, do what you say you're going to do. I know I'm not perfect, but I will try to remember Mom and Jean's words every single day. So thanks for that, Mom. As was said, I thought somebody would have brought this up, but nobody did. She had a lot of sayings, a lot of things that just kind of rolled off the tongue. I just had a couple of them. We can kill two birds with one stone. That was one of her favorites. Now you're cooking with gas. And more recently, the last couple of months, we'd call and say, Mom, how you doing? And she'd say, I'm doing. I'm sure there were more. Please, this afternoon, come give us some more of those, because I need to hear those. As many of you know, we have a big year planned in 2023. We have several weddings planned. And I think it's ironic that with all the love in our family, all the love being planned for next year, that we're here now celebrating Mom and our love for her. I think Rosie might have mentioned that the last time we were all together might have been her 80th birthday. But we weren't all together. Our family's growing, and it's great. So again, thank you, Mom, for being the matriarch of our family, getting us all together. And of course, there's one more meal involved. So thanks for that, Mom. I love you. I will surely miss you. I will ask you for advice often. WWMD.
Beautiful, all three of you. Thank you for sharing your personal memories. So much, you can all identify those who knew Estelle. We're grinning along, we're smiling, we're nodding their heads. Dear God, this day, be with us. Be with us, God. Wrap us in your presence like a blanket. Comfort our saddened souls, and may the grieving family find solace in the love they share, in the devotion of friends and family, community, and in the knowledge of your sheltering presence. God, console us all in the faith that Estelle lives on among us, in every family celebration, in each of our smiling memories, in the legacy of her service, her wisdom, her passion, her generosity, her devotion to friends and family. Dear God, Shomea Tefillot, hear our prayers. Find favor in Estelle, beloved wife, mother, aunt, grandmother, and so much more. So cherished and admired. Shower your presence upon her. May she be welcomed into your presence forever. Amen. One of the beautiful qualities of Estelle was her ability to always think of you. Think of you for your birthday, for a holiday, for a celebration of any sort. She loved showering cards and gifts to the important people in her life. The people who provided her consistency and love. It is one of those things that endeared her to so many. Not the gifts themselves, but her thoughtfulness, her ability to remember you. She was generous and caring and empathetic. Today we remember the person who always remembered us. Estelle was born and raised in Shaker Heights, the only child of Ruth and Louis Fosberg. Graduate of Shaker Heights High School, Estelle became a professional jazz and tap dancer, beginning lessons at the age of 7. She eventually taught dance at the David Morgenstern School of Dance. It was fitting that Estelle took to dance because she exemplified grace and dignity in how she carried herself, the way she dressed, and in her appearance off the dance floor as well. She went to the very same hairstylist and manicurist for years, and she not only exhibited beauty, but she appreciated beautiful things. She appreciated a beautiful painting, crystal, a beloved pet. She would say, "Oh, so beautiful." It was this quality, Estelle's ability to see the beauty in others, to appreciate the treasured people in her life, which drew others to her, including her many girlfriends with whom she played mahjong, canasta, and regular socializing. She just loved spending time with those friends. She was the cruise director among them. She was a loving wife, first to Harvey and later to Jean. Even following divorce, Estelle and Harvey modeled co-parenting to their children in the most respectful way. They modeled how to be cordial to each other, with Estelle even attending Harvey's wedding when he remarried. Eugene was the love of her life. They met in 1974, and they shared much in common, including a strong ethic not to speak poorly of others, and that was mentioned many times here before. They raised their children together, modeling that Brady Bunch concept. Robin said the following about her stepmother: "She opened up her heart immediately when we joined and continued to raise us as her own. Never did she refer to us as her stepchildren. We felt so loved, as if we were her own. We are blessed to have had her as our mother." The siblings all got along, always supporting one another, and as they matured, became adults themselves, had their own children. They maintained a loving connection regardless of where in the country they lived. Trips to the Outer Banks solidified those connections, and particularly for the next generation, as the cousins came to know one another, love one another, rely on one another. The grandchildren were her life. Some lived in town and others out of town, but each one had a special relationship with their Nana. They were her life, and she made it a priority to talk to them. She wanted to learn, know about their lives, and she only saw the good in her grandchildren. Robin mentioned that she was always complimentary about the job she was doing as a parent. And whenever there was a decision to be made, many in the family would ask, "What would Nana do?" She was the font of wisdom, a terrific advice giver. She held a special appreciation for her faith. Although she was not raised with a formal Jewish education, like so many women of her generation, she absorbed the traditions as they were lived by her parents, her family early on, and later took such pride from her children and her grandchildren and their connection to their faith. She prepared family meals and hosted every Jewish holiday, making all the traditional foods found in family recipes passed down from the generations. It was just a few days ago that I had the honor of visiting Estelle in hospice. And as I visited her, I can feel the tremendous amount of love that was exhibited and felt in that room. It was truly palpable. Family was there honoring her. I sat down next to her and saw her beautifully coiffed hair and face. She was really, as you said, Ray, the epitome of grace and dignity. You could tell. You could just tell. I spoke with her a little bit, and she really worked hard to listen and to respond. Rabbi Caruso from Fairmount Temple, oh, that's so nice. She didn't know me well, but as was her way, she wanted to welcome me, even in her last few days of life. She was in and out at that time. We didn't want to tax her too much, but I walked away feeling more whole, uplifted by being in her presence, uplifted by being in the presence of family. The way they looked at her, the way they talked about her, was with great respect and honor. We don't always see that in how we treat our parents, how we treat our grandparents. But Estelle was different. You could tell. So today, we honor Estelle Phinick. She was a great matriarch of her family. She leaves a lasting and loving legacy of all to follow in her footsteps. May her memory be an enduring blessing. And let us say, Amen. I'm going to invite you all to just take a few moments as we think about the gifts that Estelle brought to your life or brought to the lives of those who you love, her family. This legacy, those who are remembering her. Estelle is survived by her 5 devoted children, Jeffrey, Michelle, and Dean, Mark and Meg, Ray and Regina, Robin and Philip, her 12 adoring grandchildren, Leland and Katie, Jeremy and Jamie, Rosie and Rich, Zach, Ben, Dory, Corey, Jamie, Katie, Jet, Adam, Austin, Dominic, Emily, Lauren, and Billy. We invite you now to rise at your seats as you are able, only if you are able, as we continue with the memorial prayer, the chanting of El Malei Rachamim. El Malei Rachamim, Shochein Bamromim, Hamsei Menucha Nechona, Tachat Kanfei Hashchina, Bemalot Kedoshim Mutorim, Kezoar Rakia Mazirim, Et Nishmat Esther Pesel, Bat Lazer Yitzchak Veruchel, Shalacha Leolama, Began Eden Tehei Menuchata, Ana Balarachamim, Hastireha, Beseter Kenafecha Leolamim, Utror Bitror Achayim, Et Nishmata, Adonai unachalata v'tanuach b'shalom al mishkava v'nomar Amen. El Malei Rachamim, exalted, compassionate God, grant infinite rest in your sheltering presence among the holy and the pure to the soul of Estelle Phinick, who has gone to her eternal home. Merciful One, we ask that our loved one find peace, perfect peace, in your eternal embrace. May her soul be bound up in the bond of life. May she rest in peace. And let us say, Amen. As we turn to the conclusion of our service, I know I speak for the family in sharing their gratitude for your presence here today. We want to share with you that we will move on to Beit Olam Cemetery for the graveside burial. And then the family will be receiving friends following the services and internment until 7:30 p.m. at the Point East Community Room, 27500 Cedar Road in Beechwood. And on Sunday, August 28th, 12 to 4 and 6 to 8 at the home of Ray and Regina, 8175 Devon Court. Family and friends who are unable to attend the service, we're viewing it today. And I also want to share that there are donations, and in lieu of flowers, donations in Estelle's memory are greatly appreciated to the Vinnie Hospice care of Maltz Hospice House, where she received such beautiful, compassionate care, and also the gathering place.
All those who are pallbearers, step forward. Baruch lefanai shulchan neged urai shanta b'shemen. You're going to turn to the left. You turn towards the first. Shot through the base of the knife. See the roller.